I'm here with Luke Moroney from Search Party Property. Luke, you're at the Accounting Business Expo.
Yes.
You're lost, or what's...
Good question, actually, Mike. It's really interesting to see all the different things that are happening. I think in terms of being, first and foremost, a property investor, we've got to look at the numbers and what's behind the numbers and how we actually improve ourselves on, like a number-based accounting, and really understand what's going on behind the scenes, because yes, you can look at the whole idea of investing and how things are going to work, but a big thing about tax deductions and what we go through as investors really needs to be understood.
Yeah.
And I think that's on the back of what we want to educate and help with our investors, or lead our investors and our clients in the right directions.
Yeah, and a lot of people think it's all about the picture. This place I bought for $290, it rents for $380. Hey. But there's a lot of fundamentals that go behind it, right?
Yes.
And if you haven't checked out Luke Moroney's interview on the Geared for Growth podcast, do that, because he shares a lot more info and insights than we could share today. But what's happening in the property investing space? Are people getting finance? Where are they looking? Is everyone heading north because of affordability? Is it about regionals? Are people scooping on the blue chip because it's come off the boil? There's 8 questions in there. You can pick any one.
All right, well, we'll start with the finance first, because I think that's the hot topic at the moment. It was interesting to see some of the specials come out of recent times. So ANZ have released some information about doing a 10-year interest-only period.
Interest-only, that used to be the devil itself.
That's right. So, on the back of the Royal Commission, it was all about the interest-only lending and so forth. Now they've come out with a product. Now, in saying that, we've got situations where there's tighter servicing on those loans. So how many people are actually going to be able to get into those loans? That's a big focus on what's going on at the moment. I think in terms of where we are at our market, we focus on the Brisbane property market. A big reason for that, as well as looking at infrastructure, population growth and things like that, but affordability. If you look in the suburbs of Brisbane, you're basically paying half the price on the property in comparing apples to apples with Sydney. So people are starting to realise this and starting to move up to Brisbane because of on the back of that. Jobs are being created, things are happening in that marketplace. The only thing that's really holding back, I guess, all investors right now and seeing the growth is really that tighter lending. It's affected everywhere. Now, we would have thought that Adelaide, Brisbane, some of those regional markets would perform even better by now, but I think the tighter lending, the Royal Commission has really stunted some of that growth. And I guess it's then having a massive effect on Melbourne and Sydney, where we saw 10% declines during 2018. So, for us, there's still clients coming through, which is really positive. I guess before they used to be able to borrow at maybe $800 or $1 million. Now they're coming back where the banks or the lenders are telling them that they can borrow at maybe $400,000 or $500,000. So that's our market. So we're still getting people looking to create wealth, and people still want to look to invest, and they know that in the past property prices have increased. We're not making any more land, and all those fundamentals.
And that sort of money goes a long way in Brisbane, right? And normally to buy something cheap compared to Sydney, you had to go regional, where the fundamentals were a bit sort of sketchy. Maybe there was one big employer, there wasn't a lot of infrastructure. Mining, that's a big one, of course. But Brisbane is not a regional, right? Like, it's a serious city. There's a lot of infrastructure going in. You got the airport expansion. There's a lot going on. Lots of different employers.
And the port as well. So a big one is the port. So a lot of some of that idea of, and I love the people that are crossing the line here and coming through. We got a few photo bombers through, but I think
tag them. We'll track
that's
them
right.
down.
That's right. We love everyone on social media, don't we, Mike? But in terms of the port, all the trade that's going to come through from Asia is going to come into Brisbane. It's going to be sent down via rail, inland rail line, through to Sydney and Melbourne. So it's a real big one in terms of what is really happening in terms of Brisbane, and that's why a lot of jobs are being created up there in those areas. We're seeing a lot of things like Costco being built up there, Coles distribution centres opening up, a lot of early infrastructure that I see happen in Brisbane that I don't often see happen in Sydney. It's kind of almost like it comes after the fact.
Yeah.
They build the roads after all the houses are built.
Yeah.
It seems to be a little bit in the reverse for Brisbane, more so, maybe not to a full extent where everything's ready to go, but they're building it as housing's being built, not afterwards.
Yeah, they're geared for growth.
They're geared for that's right.
Anyway, Luke, Search Party Property, check him out on Instagram, Facebook, all the things. He's there, you'll find him. He's definitely worth a follow. He's got groovy hips, he'll dance the day away. Good fun. Cheers, mate.
Thanks very much, Mike. Appreciate it.